Alright, good morning, afternoon, good evening, everybody. Let's get underway with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Shipyard Champions. Week 8 for number 4. Scores for the last week, as always. 52 points for me, first place. I mean, to be fair, I did have a bit of advantage of I knew the some of the AI behavior. Considering I designed the ships, I did test to make sure that they actually was a kind of fairest challenge. So I did have a bit of a leg up compared to the other admirals. So it is understandable how I got first, but then again, I'm surprised they didn't murder as many transports as they did during the last week's challenge. Because in my little test games, they murdered a bit more than that. Second place going on, Brosilly and Ulairi tied with 45 points each. Poliwhirl with 40 in third. Stealth 35 with fourth, and Panzergraf fifth with 31. And then due to real life stuff and all that, some Admirals weren't able to do the challenge once a week, which is fine. It's fine. The challenge this week is a two-parter. First, we designed a 1935 German Battlecruiser with a target budget of $2 billion. And we put them in the little Discord we have. And then sail it. So we've setting randomly, considering there was only one Battlecruiser left by the time I got around to actually looking at the Battlecruisers to pick. So I ended up with Poliwhirls, which we will use for the challenge. And then we're fighting the United States. Not the United States. The British Empire. In 1935 for both of us. At 20,000 yards, or 20,000 meters. Clear day. For weather. One battleship, one battlecruiser. 2 heavy cruisers and 4 destroyers on the enemy side. Battlefield conditions clear. Scoring at 2 points. Your arm performance, well, your stolen ship's performance. So basically we stole a ship. So we each stole a German battlecruiser from each other. So we sink a battleship with the ship we stole. We get 10 points. Battlecruisers 8, CA 6, DDs 2. And then we get half the points of the ships that they've sunk. So basically, if who stole my ship? Lost Galaxy. So Lost Galaxy gets a perfect score or whatever. I'd get half of that. And Poliwhirl will get half the score I get with his ship, and yeah, that's how it goes. Adds on top. So both how well you design your ship and how well you do with the ship you stole. And a Poliwhirl ship is definitely interesting because I can look like they're the same year and all that. I can show off the ship, both ships, the ship I built and the Proto Lenderlich, which is an interesting name. So, I may as well show off my ship first. Ship that Lost Galaxy is going to be playing with, which has no secondaries. She's 50,000 tons. She's much faster than the Proto Lenderlich at 34 knots. She's got cadets on board, which is a problem. But I assumed, I wasn't sure whether or not that was part of the pricing or not, so I just went, well, let's assume it's part of the pricing. Basically 100% engine efficiency. She's got a little bit of pitch problems, a little bit of weight offset. Gear turbines 2, modern 1 armor, Citadel, Capitalistic 2, base fuse, TNT 4, 2 powder 3, 23-inch torpedo tubes, so they got a pair of torpedo tubes, 22 kilometers, so they can launch immediately, even though they're not likely to do much, but you never know. They're oxygen tubes. I did go with coincidence. I did notice that Poliwhirl ship went with stereoscopic and Gen 3 radar, which I think is basically something everybody probably took, is Gen 3 radar, considering there's no reason not to take Gen 3 radar, considering it is a massive boost to long-range accuracy and tower spotting, and also even shell splashes from own guns and other guns decrease the interference from that. That is a big bonus, is Gen 3 radar. Actually, any radar. So basically, no, it's coincidence for mine. Yeah, I was going to say, that's 50% base gun accuracy and 100% gun aiming speed versus... That does remove, basically, interference from own shells, combined with Gen 3 radar. and long range accuracy and all that. So that is a bonus if you have a multiple gun calibers. But considering I only have the one gun caliber, which is 16s, 1652s, so they're slightly lengthened 16-inch guns. The ship should do well accuracy-wise, considering there's no interference from other shell types to rain on its prey too much. Drought minus 15%, that's interesting. Only 7,000 kilometer range, 28 knots, 37,000 tons. So she's a much cheaper ship, but she's also crewed with veterans. So she's accurate. I also noticed Poliwhirl likes to use the single turrets, which makes a bit of sense. Are these chopped down 18s? No, these are standard length 18s. Okay, but I was looking, I was like, they seem like they're chopped down model wise. 14-inch belt, 4.5-inch main deck. All right. And this is modern one, so it's relatively tough. He does have RDF, which I assume does help. And he's going for stereoscopic versus coincidence. TNT 2, well, that must be a cost-saving measure. Semi. Okay. Then again, I guess they are 18s, even with semi. That's not too bad. Super Happies, which again I think is slightly bugged. I think that's been bugged for a while, considering how it does the opposite of what it says it does most of the time. Yeah, he's actually got secondaries, which is probably why it went for stereoscopic versus coincidence. Although these are, I mean, the 5-inch 37s will get to 9. That's a short gun caliber. Actually, no, I think that's a standard. At 20, these might not be too much use for against. Well, even then, it's at the year where. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be maybe anti-aircraft guns. Representation of that, considering the only real effective secondary is this dual 13-inch gun. In my opinion, anyway, considering how it's only 9-kilometer range for these 5-inch guns. Like, destroyers are going to be able to launch outside of that range. It's not like a case where, it's not like 1890 or whatever, where you had destroyers who have such short range that they basically get to run up to you, and so 9 whatever kilometers is like I would have gone for long fitting the gun barrels and over less guns personally. That's my personal thing I would have done. Just because it's a case of the sooner you begin engaging the enemy, the more chances overall you have to hit, even if it's at the less percentage per shell. But then again, there's also the volume of fire up to a point with the quad gun turrets. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, as always, where it's the case like I would have done it differently, but it's also not like it is a way to do things. I just would have, if I had to put secondary guns on, I would have put, personally, longer range secondaries. Other than the 13. Just to make sure that we have, they can engage them sooner, potentially outside of torpedo range. Indefatigable. Well, I mean, if it lives up to its namesake, it's probably going to explode. If I'm remembering my British Battlecruisers correctly. If I'm remembering correctly, Indefatigable is one of the ships that detonated at Jutland, I think. That's a long battlecruiser. That looks like a North Carolina, except with a secondary gun turret in front of the there, and for whatever reason, a turret on a barbette. That I don't know why it's on that barbette. That just looks like a Belfast, just immediately off of. That looks like a Belfast. Nope, I don't need you there, G-Force experience. Yeah, that's a... There we go. That should be fine. So turn that down to regular old sensitivity on the mouse. Oh, there's that. So let's see. Oh, 18.1-inch guns. Alright. That's a Yamato. And that's 17.4s. That's basically... Okay, so this is probably lightly armored. Very lightly. Is that a quad? Yeah, that's quad 8. Oh, that's quad 8.1. No, there's multiple quad 8.1s. And that's collision between them. Okay. Well, these all guns are engaging. And we are getting return fire, so this is probably return fire from the either Battlecruiser or the battleship is returning fire. You know, this is a very, very interesting design, considering, unless these were put on for weight balance, maybe. So to say, they're at... Yeah, it's interesting. Let's see, 0.7% accuracy already. Although, that 13 firing did drop it a little bit. I think it's firing at the Battlecruiser, which is busy just doing circles and not actually engaging. Yeah, it's engaging the Battlecruiser, although it's falling way short. Unless it was engaging the destroyer that was there. Although that would have been where the Battlecruiser was if it hadn't, or roughly where it was if it hadn't, you know, done this whole weird loop circle thing that it did. Let's see, target maneuvers, minus 50% accuracy, gun recoil. I mean, engine vibrations aren't causing too much trouble. We do have the massive 2000% range found bonus. Target's fast speed is minus 62% to accuracy. Oh, there's a good hit. What was that? That was an 18. Rudder damaged. Fire and flooding. Aft belt overpenetration. Excellent hit. I mean, well, is excellent, it isn't excellent, because it is excellent because it is also torpedoes. Don't know whether or not it was the oxygen or not, so we gotta be careful of them. But it is a case of, yay, you know, that's a good solid hit. But on the other hand, that is, that's now gonna be stuck turning for a little bit, which is gonna decrease accuracy against it. So it's going to be harder to hit. Range finding, also switch target. There's range found bonus. And the 13's complaining about angle. Let's kick the speed up a little bit, just to make sure things are going. Oh, she's fixed her rudder, but she's by herself. She's continuing to move this way. Alright. Yeah, this is very much an interesting design philosophy. Because it is a Mark... It's a Mark 413, so it is good range and all that. And not terrible penetration, like it's a good anti-cruiser gun, definitely. Considering it provided it can stay at range, which, considering the speed this thing has, isn't always guaranteed. Unless the enemy runs away, because the enemy is retreating. Yes, basically what I think is going on here is the AI is trying to reach its, what it's decided is its battle range. And so it's just withdrawing because it's not reached its battle range. As soon as it reaches its battle range, it will, you know, stand and fight. And all the other ships are going with it, considering they all tend to automatically assign to screen. The formation. Well, apparently we got close enough that the secondaries on the Battlecruiser are engaging. Oh, yeah, there's torpedoes that I saw and then ignored. That's on me. That was a terrible. Terrible. Oh, there's a partial pen. And a fire. But I say, this thing does have... Again, it's not bad armor. That's a battleship engaging as well. Damage and stability. That's where having more barrels does come in handy, is like its damage and stability and stuff like that. Considering then you have more chances to hit after you take. Also, that's something I don't really get is, oh yeah, no, you get minus from like a light knock. Here's, you know, minus 40% to your accuracy. It seems a bit odd. Let's see. Do those... Okay, that's minus 90. Okay, that is actually... I was about to say, do the single barrel 18s cause like no accuracy loss, or rather, basically very low recoil? But as compared to the 13, like that seems a bit odd. Basically, want that little Corsair to try and open the range again, just to avoid being outside the range of the 8.1s. Considering we might be able to win in a long-range just engagement of, considering single-barrel turrets have more accuracy by default than multi-barrel turrets, which is a bit odd. Like, in terms of a single gun, yes, but in terms of the whole gunnery system, that is odd. Like, a multi-barrel, more guns is better, especially for range finding. Alright, so that's actually not a 52,000 tons, 37.5 knots. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Let's see, at 22-kilometer range torpedoes. Usually has underwater torpedo tubes. Again, 22-kilometer range. Like, these ones are... Actually, these have longer range than the 5-inch guns. These are lengthened gun barrels. That, or she chose... Oh, she chose cordite. Okay. Okay, so she chose cordite shells. 17.4s, 1 round a minute. And yeah, just by that she has way more gun barrels than we do. And then the quad 8.1s, which again have 19-kilometer range for the armor piercing, which is a good solid range. And then there's more so 8.1 there. Like that one's shorter. Why didn't they just make that a 53 caliber? Make it the same barrel length. That seems odd. Oh well, I mean, can't choose what they do. I know 7.1-inch guns. Yeah, this is basically like a Belfast style ship. I think it's County is the actual ship. 7.1s, 5.3. That's not a bad heavy cruiser design. 30 knots, 10,000 tons. I mean, it's got basically no armor except for on the belt. And it has a citadel, but no armor on the citadel. Like, okay, gun-wise, it's not a bad heavy cruiser. Armor-wise, it is a bit lacking. Okay, are these like electric torpedoes? Gen 1 radar, which is interesting. Oh, they're fast. Okay. Actually, what? Do you have radar? Gen 3 radar. Emperor of India. Gen 3 radar. Coincidence. Coincidence 3. Why wouldn't you use the higher tiers? Probably because the whole matching what the player tries to put out for gun turrets. 20 again? What are those? Oxygen? Yeah, oxygen 20-inch torpedoes. 8.4s, shorter barrels, but yeah, this is basically just a North Carolina, South Carolina, except 18-inch guns versus 16-inch guns, and probably weaker armor. Yeah, I think that's weaker armor. Although the main deck and foredeck is heavily, yeah, so they're, I don't know why they put no armor in the Citadel. Like, that seems odd. Did they do that in the Battlecruiser too? No, the Battlecruiser has Citadel armor itself. I don't know why the Battleship didn't put any armor on its Citadel. They also, again, chose Stereoscopic 3 for rangefinder. Like, I don't know why the AI seems to be against higher tier rangefinders. Considering, again, this is Gen 5 rangefinder. But even then, there's, I mean, we did get a hit there. That was main belt partial pen. What I think is we're going to run into ammunition problems. And also just with the pure amount of rounds we have, it's... Again, I wouldn't have gone for these single 18s. I didn't, actually. I went for the double 16s. That I slightly lengthened. And also enough speed to where I would have almost caught this Battlecruiser. Not quite would have caught, just due to the fact that it is faster. Let's see. Is the Emperor of India... The Emperor of India still... no, I think she's almost... You know, she's not quite at her battle range. But the Emperor of India is faster anyway, so... We can't catch any of these ships. Considering the cruisers and destroyers are going to stick by the battleship. Regardless. So it's just a case of trying to catch them best we can. And try and take best-ish courses. And also get that 13 engaging, considering that is the same number of gun barrels and chances to hit as the two 18s, but at a faster rate of fire, and with much more ammunition. Actually, not much more ammunition, but more ammunition. Various final missions, yeah. Reach found, target's fast speed is the major thing that's causing us accuracy problems. Slow to 23, which is the insanely slow speed for a Battlecruiser, just to try and get a little bit more accuracy. Oh, let's switch target to something. Also, this little whole switch back and forth that it does occasionally is a pain. Considering it massively tanks your accuracy. Yeah, switch to BB, and I was going to switch back to the Battlecruiser in a second. Now let's go stay on the BB for a little bit. Alright. Nope, and then the moment the 13 got back in range, it started engaging the Battlecruiser again. It's just... why? Why? Just pick one of them and target it. And then they switched to the BB. After being told to fire at the Battlecruiser. I mean, there is higher penetration odds, but it's lower odds to hit. Or is it lower odds? No, it is better odds to hit. Okay, so... when it isn't, you know... recoil and all that immediately after firing. They just speed us, they choose a target. They stick with it, instead of, you know, switching back and forth all the time. And now they switch back to the Battlecruiser, 2 partial pens, that's going to ruin our accuracy a little bit for a while. And yeah, with semi-armor piercing, they just don't have the penetration, really, even at this range. I mean, unless they hit the, you know, unarmored parts of the battleship. But to get through actual belts and all that, they don't really have... I mean, if they get through, even partial pens are doing a whole bunch of damage. It's just a case of... it can't decide what target to shoot at. And so it never keeps its accuracy. Meanwhile, they have a single target to shoot at. Like, it's just... this behavior right here is a pain. Because they can keep their accuracy, range bound and all that bonus. Meanwhile, the actual airship will just constantly switch back and forth. So yeah, it's trying to find its optimal battle range. So far, it actually hasn't hit at all. I mean, the destroyer is putting up smoke, probably isn't helping. Also, why is the... oh, never mind. There's a hit. Aft deck over pen. Exit on the Emperor of India. That's going to slow her down. Excellent. And it's also going to mess with her accuracy a little bit. Although we're almost out of armor piercing on our 18-inch guns. And also getting low on the 13s. It's, and then we don't have the speed to catch to get into range of the other ones. Never mind about that. That's a 18.1 main deck penetration for 7,000 damage. At least engines are back online fully. Something like that giving a big old accuracy. I understand. Oh, that was an ammo detonation. That took out the 3-inch guns ammunition stores. And we hit a destroyer with an 18.1-inch shell, and it's still alive? Question mark? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, no, I think that is... I think that's that. Oh, no, we are still up. Although we only have 5 rounds left of the armor piercing. And our max speed is now looking at 16 knots. I mean, it will help our accuracy being this slow, but it's also going to make enemy accuracy higher. Because it makes the calculations easier. This is... all my points are looking like they're going to be coming from... how my ship does. At this point. Yeah, we got one 18-inch armor piercing left. That was a 13-inch shell. Main deck partial pen. Now we're on to high explosive. On the 18s. The 13 still has 20 rounds. It is getting good accuracy against the bait. Oh, it's engaging a destroyer with the 18-inch guns. It's got HE. Alright, you do you. You do you. I mean, I wouldn't, personally, but if that's what you want to do. Well, I could actually go in against the battleship. Now it's switched to Battlecruiser again. Oh, okay, that's a good solid hit against a destroyer. Like, that destroyer is probably donezo, considering that was two 18-inch hits on the main deck and main belt. Then again, if that destroyer somehow survived, I mean, it's still alive. It is flooding, though. It is on fire, but it's still alive. So it's not a bad destroyer design. It's very gunboat heavy. Oh no, it's single guns with duels on the side, and then 1.9s around, and then they're very short range torpedoes. Pushman fire, that's Battlecruiser. On a battleship with 13s. Penetration on the main deck, excellent. Oh, and we're out of armor piercing. Pushman main gun damaged. Let's see, that's 21 kilometers. And they're 25. 24. So it's a 13 out of the action, considering they can't engage anything. And we got 63 rounds left then. Because we can't catch anything now. Nor can we maneuver. So we've technically scored one more hit than they have, but they've just done more. No, we have done more damage. We have done 19,000. But again, that was some of that was high explosive hits against destroyer versus a single armor piercing hit that took out. Oh, I think there was an armor piercing hit directly on top of one of the 3-inch guns. Yep, there goes the Battlecruiser. All it took was a single hit. All it took was a single hit. Although we did do some damage against them, but we got 0. Not for lack of trying, though. She dealt 22,000 damage. She just never stayed on a target long enough to actually put it down. Which is a shame. Which is a real shame. I imagine she could have, if she just targeted either the Battlecruiser or the battleship and just stuck on one of them, she probably could have sunk one of them, I think. Which would have massively started turning the tide. Then again, we also ended up rolling 18.1s on the enemy fleet. Which is, I mean, it was good and bad. The good thing was the enemy also didn't have good rangefinders, and the bigger caliber does take longer to load, but the bigger caliber in this game is also intrinsically more accurate. Which makes a bit of sense, provided they're all the same mark, because larger shells are less likely to be jostled around and through the air via, the application of wind and all that, just due to mass. It's hard to move them. But it is also a bit of a, where it's always like, the best choice is always try to get the biggest gun you have up to a certain point, unless you have a higher marked gun of a lower caliber, which can then potentially outrange and all that the lower marked higher caliber gun, which it's always a bit of 6 of one, half dozen the other. Well, that's gonna do it for this week. I'm gonna have to see how well my ship does just before in order to get my score, but so far it's a big old 0, which I mean, it was definitely interesting. Alright, everybody, hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time it is, wherever you're in the world. Take care, and I hope to see you all next time. Have a good one, everyone.